Coming to you live from the studios here in central Massachusetts. This is Up for Discussion Live. You got me, Jeff. Shannon is here. Hello, Shannon.
Hello, people.
Hello to you. And been a crazy week. I mean, not only is it high of 50 today.
Cold.
Beginning of summer, unofficial beginning of summer. But there's a ton of crazy stuff going on in the world, kid.
Yeah, it must be one of those moon and retrograde friggin' tide is coming, flowing, ebbing things going on.
You know, you're more right than you think. I spoke with my buddy Mark Rosenthal today, who of course is my weather master guy, and he said, yes, the moon is full and it's and Mercury's in retrograde. So you couldn't be more right, my love.
It's gotta be.
All the kooks are out.
The only explanation for all the crap going on.
It has to be.
Between ships sinking and people and crap. Just tons of crap. And the weather.
Yeah.
I mean, we needed the rain, though. I mean, we always bitch we don't have enough, and then we get it. We're like, we don't want it.
Yeah, but really, high of 50? Really? I mean,
it's freaking cold now.
I'm ready everybody's putting their heat back on and turning on their,
And I'm wearing your sweatpants right now because it's cold in the studio. See? You can see them.
There we go. This is just a...
We're almost that high on me.
It's a waist-up shot, kid, so we don't want to...
They're pretty fugly.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Your sweatpants.
They're big on you, too.
Yeah, of course. Everything's big on me now.
Get you some fit.
I will. We have a very, very busy show for you guys today. We're going to be covering a lot of ground because, as we mentioned, there is just a ton of crazy stuff going on in the world. But we want to take a minute to thank those that help make this possible. Our sponsors there at Leominster Storage Solutions over there on Central Street. We encourage you to stop by, say hello, and find out more by giving them a call at 978-466-8887, or you can find out more by visiting them online at leominsterstorage.com.
I encourage them to finish their project in my parking lot as fast as possible so I can have some calamity back to my bakery. Yeah. Thank you.
They are. They're expanding across the street, and the reason for that is because they're going to be getting some winter storage vehicles in there. They're going to have the floors to support. And Shannon, you have been the front row on all the concrete pouring and ditch digging and drainage and all that stuff.
I've seen it all. I've seen men nearly electrocuted. I've seen dirty men come into my shop for soup. I have seen and heard it all next door. Words that I never even knew existed.
I bet you have.
Everything over there. Diane and Bob. Everything.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Let's finish that up.
All right. Well, we do have some breaking news for you guys tonight, and our breaking news is brought to you by the makers of Skull Hunter, available exclusively at indieplanet.com. Breaking news out of South Carolina. William Leonard Dodson has been charged with animal abuse in South Carolina after being caught.
Oh, I hate that picture. You promised me it wasn't that one.
The complete asshole that duct taped his dog's muzzle. The dog was found in near critical condition. The dog was operated on, and I'm happy to say that the dog has recovered nicely, and even though it suffered severe injuries, the dog Caitlin is going to be okay. And
you're joking, right?
Nope, the dog's name is Caitlin. It's called a segue.
I asked you earlier if that was going to be the picture. You're like, oh no, this one's not as graphic as
it's
the one you're
bad.
talking about. It's awful. Did you see the picture from the front?
Well, I didn't want to put the one from the front.
It's just an awful photo. I hate that.
We all hate that. And you know, you do bring that up for a very good reason, because any of us, like us here, any of you guys that are animal lovers, this absolutely turns your stomach. And it's something that we did want to spend a couple of minutes on, because we are huge animal lovers and supporters here. And we definitely stand very strongly against animal abuse. I personally feel, Shannon, that anybody that is convicted of a crime against an animal should be treated exactly the same as if it were a human
Let's
being.
just duct tape his face together while his tongue is stuck out. Perfect.
Well, you know, these poor creatures can't speak for themselves. Know, they can hardly defend themselves. And, you know, they give us nothing but love and protection. And when we, well, they do.
By the way, our little 9-pound 12-pound dog isn't going to protect anybody who come near her. She's going to go right down to the ground and be submissive and just flop on all fours.
Well, they do, maybe not protection, but they help with love. They help with stress. No, our little dog isn't going to protect us against it.
She protects us from dust, and she mops it up as she cowers on the floor as we walk by. And if you nudge her, it's like a little kicking, like your little mop.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. The dog comes up to us and literally just sprawls out on all fours and goes about 2 or 3 feet on the floor. She is a dust mop. But how do we get distracted like Shannon?
Little curry. No, dogs for the most part protect people. I mean, that's just it's just ridiculous.
I meant more in the sense of loyalty. They're loyal, they're loving. And we as humans, I think. Any human that mistreats or abuses an animal should be treated the same as if they mistreated another human, because they are God's creatures. They are loving, living creatures, and I think they deserve all of the rights that we do. And that's just me.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, we've passed laws for that. I mean, this is now going to be, a felony for him?
I hope so.
And he's going to be facing jail time for sure. And, what sucks is that these dogs that need surgeries and medical care after they're being mistreated, vets don't just always do that out of the goodness of their heart. I mean, a lot of times there needs to be funds for that.
There is. Yep.
And it's just completely useless. If you hate your pet that much, just find somebody else that will love it.
There is so many places out there to adopt. I mean, we rescued a dog. It changed a life. And there are plenty of lonely people out there that would love nothing more than the companionship of a loving animal. So I encourage anybody, if you're pissed off at your pet, if you don't want your pet anymore for whatever reason, my God, just do the right thing. Bring it to a no-kill shelter. Let's get the thing adopted, and let's not.
Don't even bring. If you can't even bring it to a shelter, just give it to someone you know and say, "Hey, I need you to watch it for the night," and walk away. I mean, let them deal with it, but don't kill the thing. Don't maim it. Don't hurt it.
No. That's just wrong.
Just do the best you can if you can't take care of an animal.
Well, the good news is that William Leonard Dodson will be spending time in jail, and apparently in jail, the animal abusers come under about the same realm as the child abusers. So I hope he meets Bubba in jail very quickly, and they say hi, and they have their own little loving relationship, if you know what I mean, Shan.
I just pisses me off. I can't even look.
Well, that's a great segue because, of course, the dog's named Caitlin, and everybody today is talking about Caitlin. And of course, we're talking about Caitlyn Jenner, Shannon. And Vanity Fair, of course, came out with the photo today that everybody's talking about. 2 million hits on Twitter, already 2 million followers, I should say, and tearing up every news story
Greg.
On
the chat's going crazy with no.
I know. Well, I do actually. I'm going to flash back a little bit, folks, to when Bruce was Bruce. And there's yours truly standing there with Bruce Jenner at Reality Rocks in L.A.
That's when he had a penis.
Well, he had a whole different realm of things going on then. But you know what? The similarity, if you look at the look in his eyes and the lips.
Well, it's the same person, Jeff. Let's not go there and start saying that it's not a same person.
It certainly is.
There's only so much they can do to alter a human being to look feminine, but it's just creepy.
Well, there is a rumor going around that Bruce Jenner has really become Jessica Lange. That could possibly be. We got a side by side.
It's the eyes. It's the eyes, in the nose, in the mouth, and the eyebrows,
just about everything.
And the fact that they have airbrushed Bruce quite considerably, considering he's over 65 years old, is just a little unnerving to me because that I think bothers me more than anything about this photograph.
I know.
Here's an Olympian athlete who just overnight we saw from wearing Speedos to wearing corsets, and we have to get used to this. I think America has to get used to this.
Very much.
There's nothing wrong with the way things went down. I'm sorry. I mean, I do agree that if he was born a woman inside, then he has every right to be a woman on the outside. But we have to get used to this. We saw him on our television sets every evening on Keeping Up with the Kardashians as Bruce Jenner. Yeah. And overnight, in lieu of his reality TV fame now happening, he's all of a sudden a woman. And
oh, geez, yeah. I mean, not only that, Shannon. I mean, I'm old enough to remember him winning the decathlon. Now we're talking. And we were mentioning this today. Bruce Jenner was the man of all men. I mean, he was the most pristine male athlete in the world. And, if he, the most manly man and male athlete in the world, can go through a transformation like this, kind of being a spokesperson to say anybody can.
I guess she's she now. What makes it she officially? Because he still does carry the male junk down there. So.
I don't know.
What
Good question.
is it that makes him she? I need to kind of know. I wish somebody would tell me in the chat room here.
We'll do a little research.
Is there an official day? Is there one day that this happens? Or you just wake up one day and say, you know what? I'd like to be called she. I need to know.
Well, there is a rumor. There is an official rumor that the next series of American Horror Story will actually be starring Bruce Jenner taking the place of Jessica Lange. So we have that going for us.
Well, I am asking our friend Morgan Lee Richardson to please jump into the chat because we have questions, and Morgan would not be able to answer those any better. I mean, she could answer those questions very well, considering Morgan is she, he, and he, she. I don't know.
Going through the transformation is the right way to say it.
Transformation.
Yeah. All right.
And we just want to be sensitive on this issue. But Bruce, the picture looks okay. She is still being investigated for murder. I think the timeliness is kind of crappy because, yes, Bruce Jenner is a new hero. But not everybody's going to look like a cover model. Not everybody's going to be a cover model. Not everybody has a voice like Bruce C. Jenner. And it's just all very weird, and I guess we have to get used to this.
Well, here's the thing, too, Shannon, is that, yes, we're talking spokesperson, let's say, because being that famous, you obviously can reach millions and millions of people and provide some courage with that journey. The problem that I have, I got a couple of problems, first of all. The problem that I have is that why be so public about it? I mean, if it's something that you want to do, if it's something that important to you, we support you. I mean, everybody in the world should support gay marriage, should support transgender journeys, all that stuff. They should support that. But why do you need to make a reality TV show out of it? Why do you need to be all over the news every single day about it? And, not for nothing, yeah, you're the spokesperson, but do you think that, let's say that that somebody watching is considering something like this, considering, going through that change and being that, they don't have the money that Caitlyn Jenner has.
Right.
They don't have that kind of money. Do you think they're going to get the results that Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner got? I mean, really?
Right.
I think it's really a lost leader and a false sense of security when it comes to that, Shannon.
Well, Nathan has a perfect point. This just kind of confirmed what I was wondering. He is still a he. He just had some cosmetic surgery, still the same inside.
That's true.
So there are people out there saying we now have to call Bruce she because he calls himself she. But it's going to be he for a real long time.
We have to call him she because Wolf Blitzer called him she. That's why, Shannon. Let's just
Did he really?
Think about it. Yes. Yes. And Anderson Cooper too. So let's make.
Well,
no
Anderson
mistake
Cooper. There you go. No, I don't know.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, in all seriousness, if you had a close friend, somebody that you didn't already know was going through. Well, I'm talking about let's say a relative. Let's say somebody in your immediate family.
Well, it's still confusing with my close friend going through it.
Okay.
I'm in the same seat. Nothing's different. I'd say that to his or her face.
Okay.
I'm still very confused as to, when does she stop being a she and be a he? I don't know if that's an inaugural day I should be celebrating. Should I bring cake? Or is this just a change? We're just going to gradually see he on Facebook. I don't know. I need to know, when does this all happen?
Do you think it's a publicity stunt? Do you think the fact that he spent time... Well, let me ask you, that's a serious question. Do you think because he spent so much time in the public eye as an athlete and then kind of went behind the scenes more or less as a secondary figure on the Kardashians?
Well,
do you think this is something that really he wanted to do to bring himself back there?
I have a feeling that he would have done this secretly if he was just eating worms and not on the Kardashians at all, never married Kris Jenner, never even rose to that kind of reality TV fame.
Okay.
He probably would have done this on his own, but I think he found himself a really nice vehicle, and when we met him back in 2009, he had told you it's all about the kids. It's all about that TV show.
Yep.
It's all about them. Well, hey, Brucey, it's all about you now. That's what you wanted.
That's true.
He told you that as a perfect stranger.
Yep.
It's all about them. And now he's got his platform, in the midst of this vehicular homicide charge that he's facing. He's being praised as a hero just because he dons tights and a corset. And there's lots of other people that aren't famous on TV doing that, and they have been doing that for billions of years, and they don't get as much publicity.
All right, let me ask you, and I don't want you to be homophobic
and poor
about
Kris
this at
Jenner.
all. do. I want you to not to be homophobic about this at all.
I'm not homophobic.
Who's hotter, Bruce or Kris right now?
I think Kris Jenner is a beautiful woman. I do.
You still think she's hot? Okay,
I do. I mean, I'm not going to knock her just because she's a Kardashian. I think she's a pretty lady for her age.
You think Bruce isn't hotter than her now?
No, I don't think. I can't look at him as hot. I can't look at him.
Well, we're going to throw this one out there too. We're going to vote now for Caitlyn, or Kris to see. Remember Hot or Not, Shannon? We used to have Hot or Not. We have Caitlyn, and Kris up there. We want your vote, ladies and gentlemen. See who's going to be hot or not. When
I'm very attracted to that dog.
I'm going with Caitlyn,
Nathan.
number one.
Here comes the chat. Nathan goes with the dog. I'm not looking at Bruce Jenner as attractive. Never have, never will. That's not the best picture of Kris Jenner. I think that's not being too fair, but.
No.
I mean, I do think she's a pretty lady. I'm not going to knock Kris Jenner. She is the reason why all the Kardashians who they are today.
Okay.
She's a smart woman. She's just like Sharon Osbourne. You know.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's kind of the empire of the whole thing, isn't she?
I mean, she has raised up an empire. She's a smart woman. I can't knock the lady. I feel bad for her right now because her husband is now her ex-wife.
Yeah. How does that work?
I do, like, at times when I am not sleeping well at night, I'm laying in bed thinking, what if Jeff decides that he's just going to come out and start wearing women's clothes?
There's no chance.
I mean, I would die.
Have you seen how I wake up in the morning, honey? Have you noticed that? That's not going to change.
Thanks,
Let's
babe.
just leave it right there. Okay?
Well, Bruce probably still wakes up that way, too.
Boy, those cheeks are getting awfully red real quick. Honey.
Thanks, Stink McWinkerson. That's awesome.
Get a close up.
No, I mean it's a whole thing. Like my husband, who I love passionately and I have intimacy with and love, and he's my partner. If I found out one day that he was the opposite sex deep down inside, I would be heartbroken. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I would be, because that's. Like, I waited my whole life to meet someone like this, and then it just would all fall apart.
Okay.
There's a woman out there that stayed married to her husband that started dressing in women's clothes. And, I mean, for some reason, she made it work with her kids. Amazing. It's just not my cup of tea. But, I mean, how would you feel if I just one day said, Jeff, you know what? I kind of want to be with women, and bye.
Wow.
I mean, wouldn't you be heartbroken?
Yeah, you know, it would be a huge loss. I mean, it's something that...
It's a loss, just like any other. If you had died, I you know...
Well, for all intents and purposes, Bruce Jenner is dead. And you're looking now at Caitlyn Jenner as of today. That's what everybody's calling.
But just because he had cosmetic surgery, I mean, and he's wearing Kim's clothes and had a hairstylist and wears a wig and extensions and... How
much tape do they have to put on his boobs to make him look like that, Shannon? You're a girl. How much tape does that actually take?
They had to tape my boobs.
Yes.
They taped up my boobs. I do still sound like Bruce Jenner, but my name is Caitlyn. It's very feminine. They taped my boobs. Nice and perky boobs.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, honey. That's
Caitlyn. He picks a name. First of all, my little niece's name is Caitlyn. There's a bunch of Caitlyns running around in this world, and they're young women. And
I know.
The name that he picked kind of...
it's something like, right off of Nickelodeon. We've got Dexter and Caitlyn coming up next on Nickelodeon. Yeah.
Caitlyn. I mean, I did imagine another name that he was going to pick, and I did not imagine Caitlyn.
Sasha.
I'm surprised it wasn't with a K.
Yeah.
Just like all the others. Sasha, no. But Caitlyn, I mean.
All right, call me Caitlyn. That's what she's going with. That's what she's going with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, it is time to be open-minded, as somebody points out in the chat room. The world is changing, and this is something that is definitely going to mark our generation. As Bruce Jenner makes his transition to Caitlyn, I'm sure there'll be a lot of inspiration there, and certainly a lot to talk about. But speaking of talk about, Shannon, did you hear about the 92-year-old lady? I got to talk about this for a second. 92-year-old Harriet Thompson, okay, is running her 16th marathon, Shannon. 16th. She started running marathons in her 70s. This woman started running in her 70s. And now she's 92 years old. She finished her 16th marathon, and she's smiling all the way to the finish line. God love her.
She's cute.
Talk about an inspiration to all of us. I mean, if you can pick up at 70 years old and start running marathons, damn it, you can do anything.
Harriet.
Don't you think?
I mean, I can just imagine the people that what do you not the word boo. Support this lady. Cheer her on.
Yeah. Not boo, but cheer. Okay.
Oh God, she's cute. She's cute.
Adorable.
She did it in like 7 miles, 7 hours, something like that.
So not for nothing, the real marathoners, if you will, finish in like 3 hours, maybe 3 hours, something like that. So I mean, that's not a horrible pace. I'd be hard pressed to say that I could do a marathon in 7 hours. I don't think I could, Shan. Could you?
I can't do one period. With my aching bones at this moment, I wouldn't get very far at all. I don't know how she does it. No. She started training at 70, but...
Amazing woman, and that is what's trending now. And we do want to remind you guys that if you want to be part of the show, you can always call in us at 323-902-6661. Coming up later in the show, we are going to talk about cell phones at work, Shannon. We're going to hit into that subject. And before we do, we definitely want to check in with somebody that always uses the phone to his advantage. We want to find out from this week what JT thinks.
Excellent.
Hello, Jeff and Shannon. JT from L.A. That's right, Shannon, the Leominster area. I haven't done that in a while. Well, Jeff and Shannon, this lady, she wanted to get rid of some old electronics equipment she had, so she brought it to a recycling place, dropped it off. She didn't give her name or address or anything. She just dropped it off and took off. Come to find out, it was one of the original Apple I computers that were made by Steve Jobs and his partner, I forget his name, Wozniak.
What was
they were made in his garage. There was only 250 of them made.
Wow.
And this is one of them. Huh. So the recycling place put it up for auction, and it brought in $200,000.
Wow.
So they get to keep half of that. So the lady, they're trying to find a lady to give her $100,000 that they got for the computer.
Wow.
I've always said one man's junk is another man's treasure.
Yep.
Speaking of junk.
Shannon, have you ever heard this song? Because my balls are perfect. I don't like no one touching my balls, squeezing my butt, because my balls are perfect.
Oh, no, I'm not going to sleep tonight. Now I got to think about JT's balls.
Come on, Shan, sing it with
I can't get that out of my head. I'm ruined.
You gotta squeeze them, and you gotta squeeze them. To me, those balls are all perfect. And you gotta hold them,
JT.
and you gotta squeeze them. That song, I can't get that song out of my head, and neither can JT. JT, thanks for watching.
Oh, boy.
Thanks for singing. Thanks for chiming in. We appreciate all that stuff.
Thanks for the visual.
When we come back, our main topic, along with Who Does That? With your little lovely right there, Shannon Sylvia. Stick around.
Yay.
Up for discussion with Jeff and Shannon Sylvia. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Up for Discussion Live is brought to you in part by Leominster Storage Solutions, Sasquatch Coffee, Mariano's Restaurante.
And now back to Up for Discussion right here on Pararock TV.
Hear that music, it can only mean one thing. It's that segment of the program when Shannon Sylvia asks, who does that? And now, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Shannon Sylvia. All right, so before we get to you, who does that, we do have a call. 806, you're on with Jeff and Shannon. What do you got?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Howdy, howdy.
Is this Morgan?
Yeah.
Hi, Morgan.
How are you?
Good. How are you? We were talking about you earlier.
Doing good.
Thanks for calling in. And what do you think about the whole transition with Bruce and to Caitlyn Jenner?
Well, I'm all for Caitlyn. Of course, I'm transgender too, so of course I'm for her. But I can't say that that's the main reason. I think that she's doing a really great thing for not just herself, but for a community of people. We kind of got grouped into the lesbian, gay, and bisexual community, and they added the T onto the end to make it, also transgender. So it was kind of an awkward transition for us and for them as well, because we didn't, let's see.
No, I know I know what you're saying. It's kind of it's been kind of a misstereotype for many years, and I think this brings some clarity to it.
It really does, Jeff. And it's not just a matter of she's coming out for herself, but she's coming out for us. We've had people, celebrities that have come up. We've had Laverne Cox. We've had Carmen Carrera. These are folks that they were just budding in their careers. They didn't have the ability to really kind of stick around for us. They're trying to, but they're just not really there. There's a lot of people that are sitting there. They're bashing. They're like, oh, I'm so sick and tired of hearing about Caitlyn. And it's like, I'm sorry, that may be not news for you, but it is news for us.
Right.
It's great news for us, because now we have someone who is established, who has their career already done and over with.
Okay.
This is someone who can actually focus on helping us in our end of the community and help bridge a gap.
Let me ask you this real quick. With that said, how realistic is that? Because as we discussed a little bit earlier, not everybody has the means or the funds or the connections that maybe Caitlyn Jenner had. His or her results realistic? Is that being transferred on as unrealistic? How do you feel about that whole thing with his status, with his money, being able to maybe get the better situation going?
That's a really, really awesome question, Jeff. That's kind of a tough one to answer because, her situation is a little bit different financially. She does have the money. I mean, we probably know that the Diane Sawyer interview probably happened, back in the wintertime. Mm-hmm. You could see that there was snow on the ground, obviously, at that point. So we know, living in California or wherever she's at, chances of that actually having been within the last couple of weeks weren't legit. Mm-hmm. So we know that, she's had plenty of time to go out there, have her sex reassignment surgery, have whatever cosmetic surgery she needed done.
She hasn't had the reassignment surgery yet, though.
Oh, has she not? See, I was told that she had.
Nope. Just 10 hours of cosmetic surgery, but as of today, still has everything down there.
Okay.
Well, see, Carmen Carrera is the same way. And sex reassignment surgery does, unfortunately, have a time frame that they require. The American, I think it's called the American Psychological Association, I want to say, they require that you meet a certain year requirement. I think it's, I want to say 3, maybe 4 years before they'll actually, a psychiatrist or a therapist or an endocrinologist can actually say, okay, I feel comfortable in the fact that you're adjusting well, you can go and have sex reassignment surgery.
Okay, yeah. That's what somebody else is also in the chat room saying. 3 years, got to go in front of a psychologist and have some sort of diagnosis, I guess, I would think.
It's a long, difficult process.
Oh, yeah.
It's not easy. Hollywood wants it to look easy. They want you to believe, it's easy, but it's not. There's nothing easy about it, and anybody that's transgender knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we thank you for your call. We support you for your courage, and as always, value your friendship. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you guys for having me.
You betcha.
Y'all
Anytime.
take care.
You too.
Bye.
All right. Now, without any further ado, Shannon, what do you got for us in the in the realm of the obscure but true?
Well, it's weird because I just gotta thrust myself into the Who Does That now.
Do you want me to play your opening again? Do you need
can you
a
just play something? I gotta get it.
Hang on. All right, I'll play something for you. Hang on a second. Here we go. You ready?
I know it's gonna be.
Because to me those balls are perfect. I can only speak for myself. I don't want anyone touching the balls, rubbing the balls. To me those balls are perfect. Some guys like them round and some guys like them thin.
What do you think? Are you back?
Right.
You good?
Back.
And you gotta squeeze them. To me those balls are all perfect.
You gotta feel them. You gotta squeeze them.
I can't get the song out of my head.
I like the backgrounds.
I know, huh?
Sounds like the guy from the beer commercial.
Yeah.
Real American.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So let's get into the Who Does That, I suppose. So this comes from Birmingham, England. A woman is heading to jail for 2 weeks because she had sex so loud it annoyed her neighbors.
Oh, boy. Okay.
We've kind of all been there, I think. We've had some weird neighbors. Her name is Gemma Whale. Gemma Whale. Is she a porn star?
Whale, right.
Became a subject to antisocial behavior order forbidding her from bothering her neighbors after they complained to the Birmingham City Council that she'd been making a racket in her apartment. The woman, whose age was not given, hopefully over the age of doing that, had reportedly gotten into loud fights with her boyfriend, identified only as Wayne, according to the BBC.
Okay.
Neighbors reported that on January 29th, she had incredibly loud sex very early in the morning, thus violating the order.
Oh.
Gemma started screaming and shouting whilst having sex, which woke us up, a neighbor said at a hearing in May. This lasted 10 minutes.
Okay.
Birmingham County Judge Emma Kelly determined that the whale had violated the order, which has also prohibited her from playing loud music, shouting, swearing, making banging noises, stomping, and slamming doors, according to The Guardian. This isn't the first time loud sex has led to legal trouble. Last year, an unidentified woman on a Virgin Airlines flight to Las Vegas was restrained, later questioned by authorities when plane crew busted up a loud, mile-high tryst with another passenger in the restaurant.
All right.
Who does that?
I fully support that, by the way. Loud sex rocks. Right?
That's so embarrassing. Keep it to yourselves. Really, it's kind of like your sex. Just keep your sex to yourselves. Nobody cares. Okay. Where did I get that from? Second story hails from New York City.
All right.
A New York City man.
It's not in Canada.
No, it's not Canadian.
Okay.
A New York City man whose first name is God has settled the lawsuit with a credit reporting agency that has refused to recognize his name as legitimate.
Hold on. This is God. Okay.
Under the agreement reached in Brooklyn federal court this week, Equifax, now we all know that name, will enter God Gazarov's name into its database. The terms of the settlement were not disclosed. I can't believe this is the first time this is happening.
Wow.
Like there's not been another God who needs credit.
I guess not.
Gazarov now has a robust 820 credit score.
Oh, I bet he does.
Who does that?
God, I should just make a case that they don't have my name in the database.
Really, huh?
He says he was shocked by Equifax's refusal to acknowledge his moniker. The Russian native is a Brooklyn jewelry store owner who is named after his grandfather. It says it's a relatively common name in his native country. He told the New York Post he's relieved the matter has been settled and plans to buy a new BMW.
Who does that?
Lawyers for the credit company have declined to comment.
Yeah, that's a common name in my country. Heaven.
God.
I'm from heaven. It's a common name in my country.
Well, it's like Jesus. I mean, Jesus is a common name in the Latino
I get
Hispanic
Jesus,
community.
but God, really? Come on.
Whatever. I mean, it might mean something else in somebody else's language, Sweet Pea.
Who does that?
Okay.
All right. So the third story comes out of Washington. Gumbo lover leaves a $2,000 tip on a $93 restaurant bill.
Wow.
I need to be a waiter again.
Yes,
a Washington man shocked the staff of a neighborhood restaurant earlier this week by leaving $2,000 for a meal of beer and gumbo he shared with a friend.
I gotta blow this
$93 worth of beer and gumbo for he and a friend.
Wow.
Who charges that? The man described by the Blue 44's owner, Chris Nardelli, as a gumbo-loving regular who lives nearby.
A gumbo-loving regular.
Left the tip on a $93 bill on Monday night. Thank you for the gumbo, he wrote on the bill after indulging his taste for the Louisiana Creole dish, which, by the way, is damn good.
There we go. We can get that blown up for you.
It's definitely a specialty on the house there. It's pretty shocking to say, at least, says Nardelli, who's also a chef and bartender at the 4-year-old restaurant in the Chevy Chase neighborhood.
Okay.
Made everybody do a triple take. The customer, who was not identified, asked on the bill that $1,000 go to Chef James Turner and $500 each for Nardelli and waitress Laura Daly.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, damn. Right. Like, I've got to come up with a cupcake that makes somebody tip me $1,000.
Who does that?
Well, not for nothing. Who the hell spends $93 on gumbo to begin with? The original bill was, where we are, blowing up.
$93.
$93.
Just had money to spend. Just had money to spend.
Who spends $93 on gumbo to begin with? Never mind the
That's what I was
$2
saying.
tip.
Just he and a friend had a couple beers and
That's a
some.
whole lot of gumbo. for nothing. When have you and I ever gone out, ever, and spend $93?
Look at his signature.
Yeah.
Okay, how many beers did this guy drink? That's what I mean.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
That's a lot.
All right.
I never got a tip that nice when I was in waitress.
What's the biggest tip that you ever got when you were
$100 bill. It was
bill?
Underneath a plate around Christmas time. I went to go clear the dishes off at the diner I worked at, and there was a $100 bill under there.
Well, that's really nice.
And my customers out there near Boston were very, very nice to me sometimes.
Okay.
So that to me, I was just a kid in college. That was the bomb right there.
All right.
But,
very cool. Speaking of bomb, that's a great segue.
Uncoincidental.
I know, Shannon. Did you guys hear, and this is absolutely shocking and other breaking news going on, TSA lately did a little test, and they sent through 70 mock weapons, bombs, guns. 95% of them got through. Awesome. I think that the number was 63 or 64 of them. I'm sorry, 67 of the 70 would give you 95%. Got through airport security. And this wasn't just in one airport, Shannon. This was in major airports across the country.
Yep.
How does that make you feel as a traveler, as an air traveler?
It's amazing because when you go to the airport, there are 50,000 agents for TSA just walking around looking at you, and they're not doing their job.
Oh my God! They've been under major scrutiny.
Yeah, it definitely. People are getting groped, and they're still failing people.
Exactly.
Everything that they're putting you through, the long waits and lines, they're failing people.
Yeah.
The stuff that they check in your baggage, the questions, the swabs, the standing there doing this, it's failing people. I feel pissed because I've almost lost flights, if not pretty much already did because of that crap. And for what? 95%?
I know.
Come on. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked over 5%, but 95%. Hey, why don't we just scream this out to the terrorists? Put it in big marquee lights.
Really?
Hey, come on here. Bring a bomb on the plane. Bomb, 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 bomb. Just bring it on the plane because you can.
What other business?
Whatever.
Okay, forget about how important this is to the American people and how people are now freaked out about this, because I know I am. Just imagine, what kind of business can you be in? Government-funded business to the tune of $528+ billion, okay?
Yeah.
That has a 95% failure rate. What kind of business in this country is there like that besides the TSA? Can you imagine a business like that?
It's our tax dollars well spent.
It's insane.
I got to post this quote from Stink McWinkerson, who says, "I've been radiated several times and they can't get their shit right." It's true. I've been radiated several times. You've been radiated how many times? And
many,
for
many
what?
Times. Many times. And I want to know, there was a comment up there a little bit earlier, and I want to know if that's true or not, where I think, hang on, I'll see if I can find it here. Last time somebody was in an airport, they saw 5 TSA employees on their Facebook pages. I really just want to know if you're kidding around, if that's true, because that just adds insult to injury. They're talking about better equipment. They're talking about better training. They're saying that these scanners just flat out do not work. Pretty scary considering that, they've hung their hat on those things for the last several years.
Yeah. Billions spent.
Billions, absolutely billions of dollars. So here we are, more or less getting a false sense of security since 9/11. And now
A-holes.
they're saying that nothing's working. And as a result, the chief is gone. The big cheese at the TSA is gone, and they're a mess over there. They haven't had a leader in 5 months.
Yeah,
they're looking for a replacement. The whole department is in shambles. And meanwhile, Shannon, not for nothing, but there were several bomb threats today and over the last couple of days at major airports on major airlines again. So if you guys think we're safe and we're free and clear from all this, they are here, folks. And by they, I mean the terrorist groups, the Islamic groups that we are been fighting since 2001. Just in Boston today alone, and we didn't even have time to get the story together, but there was a man shot in Boston today that was on the suspected terrorist group. He was on a 24-hour watch. When they approached him, he pulled out a weapon, charged at officers, and was subsequently shot and killed. But Shannon, you don't get on a 24-hour watch unless they know something's going to happen. And they feel that they had a very, very strong inkling or case that something was going down today, and that's why they took him out. You don't go out into the middle of the street, into the middle of public in Boston, and start shooting at people unless there is an imminent threat. So there's a lot of stuff they're not telling us. There's still a lot of information coming in, but all of that, accompanied with the fact that TSA is failing so miserably, should have the eyebrows of Americans raised tonight. And in terms of how safe are we when we get on these airplanes, and what can we do to help this situation? Because air travel is not going to stop. People aren't going to stop going to fly to see their loved ones, by no means at all. But we do have to make sure that nothing like 9/11 ever happens again. So this, to me, was absolutely alarming. And it's like you said, Shannon, if it was 5% or, geez, it was in the 80s, 80% work, and they need to tweak it a little bit. But 95% fail rate, folks. And I just want to keep repeating that so you guys can get your head around that. This is something that was supposed to be the savior after 9/11. This was supposed to, rid us of terrorism and provide some sort of safety and security in our country for air travel. And here we are now, umpteen years later, and how many millions hundreds of billions of dollars later, and we're at a very sad state of affairs when TSA security is failing so miserably. So, wow. I hope they can get that straightened out, Shannon, because you and I won't fly.
With no leader, how are they going to do that?
They're going to elect. They're going to elect somebody. They're going to have to. They're going to have to appoint somebody.
Well, Martha Coakley.
Yeah,
that bitch didn't do any good for us. So
started.
Yeah,
but they're going to have to find somebody to straighten that situation out. Of course, now all the presidential candidates are basing their platforms on how weak the country is and how vulnerable we are. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people that buy into that. Because facts are facts. You can't change the fact that, they just went and did a test of 70 bombs. We're talking like bombs strapped to your back, guns put in briefcases and suitcases, things that should be picked up by airport security, by monitors, by scanning machines.
Awesome.
And I can't believe I'm still saying this, but 95% of these weapons
and grenades
got through. I mean, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. What do you guys think in the chat room of that? I mean, there were grenades too.
Grenades.
Yes, they were. Stink McWilkinson.
And they gave me crap for a $1 bill with some coins in my pocket once. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I had to take it out and put it in a dish. And so I walked through the thing, and then I said, I want my money back. And they were like, no. And they took my money. They would not give me my money back. Who does that?
Well, you thought I had a roll of quarters in my pocket once, but
remember that story about the guy who was trying to get through the airport and they thought something suspicious was in his pants, and it's the guy with the longest schlong in America. The poor guy. And we did a whole story on him. He just happens to be that big, and they were like, no way, and they were giving him the pat down, and they were like, oh my god. True story.
And then people were lining up for his autograph, and I guess he got a contract on a porn site, I guess.
I actually saw a picture. I just couldn't believe it. That's just ridiculous.
Is that the one that you have framed up in your office? The one that
no, out of respect for you, no. It's just ridiculous. It's all like right. this mutant penis. It's just not possible.
Detachable
Poor guy, he just wanted to fly in a plane.
I just wanted to fly in a plane. I didn't want the world to know that I was hung like Secretariat. And I mean, my God.
Oh, my God. It was like almost down to his kneecap. You should just pull up the picture and show everybody because it's just unbelievable.
He's been getting dates and marriage proposals ever since, ladies and gentlemen. Good for him. Good for him.
Cecilia from Hawaii is trying to say in the chat room that they tried to take her cane. And she said if her cane was a lethal... because they thought it was a lethal weapon, and she told them if they didn't give it back, she would demonstrate it for them.
I hope you beat them over the head with it.
You can't take a cane from somebody. Come on, put it through the friggin' scanner and let it fail at 95% like everything else.
Well, how many of these guys do you see? You know, they're patting down like senior citizens and kids,
children, and babies.
Crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, they do find some fun things though with those human body scanners, like the guy with the big wad of cocaine stuffed up his butthole and stuff. This is a completely appropriate conversation for all of you watching at 11 a.m. Sorry. But they do find stuff like that. There was somebody that tried to like put a baby underneath their clothing, and people have tried to smuggle exotic animals and stuff. Yeah, let's see if they're paying attention.
All right.
As they see an x-ray of an iguana hanging down from someone's left tentacle. Anywho.
Well, we can only hope that they get that situation squared away sooner than later, because I know I like to travel. I know you like to travel. And, boy, I'll tell you, I'm going to think twice right now until they get this situation squared away. I don't know about you, but definitely want to take a minute here while we still have a few minutes left in the show to thank everybody over there at LATV. Carl and Tina, Jack, Jane, and Robert all do a very fine job in supporting us, and it's good to have the studio back up and operational after a few weeks of hiatus due to some major construction and cleaning downstairs. So we are glad to be back in the palatial LATV studios and also back with you guys. Now, before we go, Shannon, I as I always do, I go onto Facebook every week and I pose our public opinion question of the week. And this week we talked about cell phones at work. And we're not talking about it being part of your job description. We're not talking about you being a salesman and having to call the troops and stuff. We're talking about this particular lady right here who's trying to multitask, with the office phone in one hand, the cell phone in another. Let's start with you, Shannon, as a business owner. How do you feel about employees and cell phones at work?
I do believe that since my employees choose to work a shift straight without breaks, I'm not too hard on them. But it would completely irritate me if I found this a habitual thing where they're just shooting the schlip with somebody right in front of my face, having conversations, giggling, laughing, love you too.
Okay.
I mean, I can do that. I'm the boss. But there's a time and place, and I think that most of those people that employees probably are talking to probably know they're at work and shouldn't be calling them. So unless there's a fire somewhere, maybe the phone shouldn't be ringing all day.
Okay. All right. Well, as you know, I'm a little bit older than you. I come from a different generation, if you will, and I happen to have lived in a generation where we survived, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, all day at work without a handheld mobile device. Whew. I know that comes as a shock to most of you, and how it could possibly be done. It's somewhat a heroic act, if you ask me. But there were times where you could actually go to work and not have a cell phone or be bothered during the day. And continuing with that and being old-fashioned, if I was your boss, the cell phone would be in the car. Yeah. There would be no cell phone at work. I would give you a break. You could have cell phone at break. You could have cell phone at lunch.
Yeah.
Or you could have cell phone if you just found out by somebody calling the emergency number, which I would provide for you so people wouldn't be calling your cell phone. They could call the emergency work number. If you had to respond to maybe your house on fire, I could see somebody using a cell phone for that. But outside of that, Shannon, you're working for me, and I would say this as an employee or an employer, because I've been on both sides of the fence. If I'm working for somebody, I'm on their dime. I'm not going to take a second to distract myself from the cell phone. With the cell phone, because that takes me away from my job. It takes me away from the focus on the job. If it's something that your job requires safety, there could be a huge safety issue there with people trying to multitask. And as an example of that, and in support of that, think about this for a second. For those of you that are thinking it's okay to multitask with your cell phones while you're trying to perform your job tasks, we don't drive while we're on the phone because it's very distracting. It's probably very distracting while you're at your job, too, I would think. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, we at the shop work with food items, and we don't want the fingertips on the phone and then touching the food. So, there's time and place. But there's going to be a lot of places. Like, you'll never see a cashier at Walmart sitting there on their phone, or the grocery store. I mean, that's just impossible. But I bet you a lot of people sit at their desks all day, and they stare at a computer monitor, and they don't have a boss walking by 20 times a day. They probably sit there and text all day long, because I get texts from people that do this. So,
sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a problem.
And that's why none of you can get your work done, because you're all too busy texting all day long.
We're just all talking about you, Jeffrey.
You should be. But we did go to you guys on Facebook, and we asked what you think about this week's public opinion question, which was cell phones at work. And here's what you had to say. Not for sales, if not on the sales floor, break time only. No cell phones while on the clock. All personal calls can be made on break. Another person says break, lunch, and emergencies only. Now, I will tell you that there were a couple that were on the other side of the fence, and let me try to find them here real quick. There were a couple that said, if you get your job done, okay, if you can perform your job tasks and get your job done, why shouldn't you be allowed to be on the phone too? Here we go. If you've never had downtime on a job, and that everything was done. Before cell phones, there were newspapers, crossword puzzles, and more office chit-chat. Expecting someone to be working nonstop for the entire time they are at work is unrealistic. Mm-hmm. I'm going to read that sentence one more time. And I love the person that wrote this, so I'm not going to call them out by name. Expecting someone to work the entire time they are at work is unrealistic. That's me scratching my head. Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. Whenever breaks are scheduled, or not that they need to happen, even at the desk job, you are supposed to get up and walk away from your desk every 20 minutes to help with posture and good health. Okay. Expecting someone to work nonstop while they were at work is unrealistic. I have to laugh at that, because not only do I expect you to work the entire time you're at work and I'm paying you, I did it. Guess what? The entire time I was at work, I was working. It's an amazing thing. You don't screw off. You don't go on your phone. You don't jump on Facebook. You don't start sending texts. You actually focus on your job for the entire time you're at work, and people are paying you.
I never ever did that to a boss ever. I mean, I've been self-employed for 15 years, so it's not like I had a phone 15 years ago. But
like I said, I've been self-employed. I've also been an employer. I ran a company where I ran hundreds of people, and I've also been on as an employee, and there isn't a single case that I can make. And to respond to the first part of that, if you're performing your job tasks and you're able to be on the phone at the same time taking breaks, then maybe you ought to perform more job tasks. Mm-hmm. I mean, why don't you try to achieve a little bit more? Be great at your job. Why don't you do something that could earn you a raise and maybe buy you your own company so you can take time off and be on the phone all day long if you want to. But while you're working for me, stay off the damn phone, put the phone down, and do your damn job. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel, Shan.
You're all fired up.
I am. Because, I think people today, especially kids today, they feel like they're entitled. Well, what do you mean I can't carry my phone in class? Well, there was just a situation I saw on Facebook the other day that pissed me off. A young kid beat up a 60-something-year-old teacher because he took his damn cell phone away in class.
I remember that.
I would turn around, and I don't care if I went to jail or not, I would beat the kid with his cell phone. And that would just be me. I'm sorry.
I thought schools had metal detectors these days. How do these kids even get through with these phones?
It's a different world. It is. I could not imagine being a teacher nowadays, trying to deal with kids and their cell phones and trying to text each other. And, not only do you not need an Encyclopedia Britannica anymore because everything's on Google, but gone are the days, we used to pass a girl a note. Maybe wait the afternoon, see if she got it. Maybe you'd get the phone call. Maybe you'd have to wait till the next day. Yeah. But now you can just go up and text her, and then you can see if she's on Facebook. And if she's on Facebook, she's not getting your text. And she's blowing you off. You already know the drill. There's nothing to it.
Stalk our friends and employees.
No, don't you love the person that's like, I just saw you on Facebook like 5 minutes ago. Why aren't you returning my message?
Just today, my hairdresser was posting. So a client blew her off today. And this is not the first time. And she went up on that client's Facebook page and found out that she was somewhere else. So, I almost panicked because I'm like, it can't be me. No, because my God. But she was like, what do I do? And so we were all like, yeah, just quietly dump the client. That's not cool because that's 1 hour plus of her money for rent and stuff, especially at the beginning of the month. That's not cool.
I don't know. And I kind of started the other day, and it's even like, and I know you're going to rip me for this because we only have a couple minutes left, but it's like Senator Kerry there, over there, I'm sorry, Secretary of State Kerry, over there, keeping peace in Switzerland, whatever the hell he's doing. He's out breaking his leg in France riding a bike.
I know.
For God's sakes, you're on our taxpayers' dollars. Can you not wait till you get back to American soil to ride your damn bike and just do your job? Do your job while you're over there. And this is during the day. This isn't like, he's out at night and he's got to have dinner and everybody needs a... This is during the day. So if you're an American taxpayer and you see our Secretary of State... and a story come over the news of our Secretary of State breaking his leg while riding a bicycle in France during the day. What the hell's he doing? Seriously. And not for nothing, but how much is the security how much are we spending on security to have 5 guys riding around him and who knows how many else are protecting him so he can take a damn bike ride, break his leg, and not do his job? I don't know. I'm all fired up, Shan. Stay off the phones, do your jobs, be good to your bosses, and by all means, make yourself worthwhile while you're there. There's plenty of time when you're out of work to go on Facebook, to text your friends, to make those phone calls. Tell your kids, don't bother me while I'm at work. I have a job. This job feeds you. This job pays for your cell phone. And if you want me to continue to be able to give you money for your cell phone every month, don't use it to call me because I'm probably going to lose my job and then I won't have the money to pay for your cell phone. Right, Shan?
Jeff for president.
All right. Here we go. Maybe I should toss my hat in the ring. I don't know. Maybe toss it in. We'll see what happens.
I agree with you.
All right. Well, yes, we are all fired up here. And on behalf of my lovely co-host, Shannon, and all of the crew here at PTV and Up for Discussion, we want to thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.